Back action live here at the Orange County Speedway. Hot laps have now been wrapped up. Timed hot laps for the sportsmen. Calling the groups together right now for the big block modified. Group number one, you should be in the staging lane right now. Group number one for the time trials of the big block modifieds. Special guest, of course. We got a lot of special talent up here tonight at the Orange County Speedway. Johnny Brennan, of course, one of the original Jerky Boys, back here at the Orange County Speedway. This is your old stomping grounds from when you were about, I don't know, what, yay high or so?
I'd say at least 1965, 64. Wow. You know, first trip here. You know.
Now you're pretty much known to be.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you see that. See that's you. Wow. See, all right.
Should I get more into?
Usually when he looks on a screen now, he sees Mort from Family Guy, and it's only his voice behind it. So you're not used to seeing your voice, your screen, your screenshot as well. Wow, pretty impressive there, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. It's so many years coming here. I used to sit right in the first turn there when I was a kid. My first trip here, I remember I was just a little boy, and I was down in the front. My aunt brought me into the speedway with my cousins, and it was once you saw that as a little 4-year-old kid.
Oh yeah, you're hooked.
That's it.
You're hooked.
Done. I've been back, and we've been here so many years. It's not even funny. Great.
Now, your claim, you got kind of a double claim to fame. Not only one of the famous Jerky Boys and all the great recordings you guys did throughout the years. That was kind of like the first step into claim to fame. But then, what went from the Jerky Boys to your voice as Mort on Family Guy? How did that transition take place?
Well, actually, I created the Jerky Boys many, many years ago, and you could say it goes as far back as when I was just a little tyke.
Wow.
But yeah, because I was doing all these characters and voices, and like I said, based on family members. Funny enough, Sal Rosenberg is my mom.
Oh boy!
So, and it goes back.
That's short for Sally.
Sal.
Oh,
Sal.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom was she was a character. So that's where Sal comes from. But if you look at down through the history, it's amazing. And Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, grew up listening to my stuff when he was just a kid. So Seth, he was like, I actually read for Peter, the main character of the show, Family Guy, and this was before there was a show called Family Guy. So the producers at Fox were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Use both. You
need
to use both of them.
Check.
Yeah, there you go. You can use them both.
Can you get me on that one?
Now you.
Yeah, the producers on Fox were like, there's no way we're going to have the Jerky Boys be part of this. And now when you look at the show, Family Guy is a whole lot more, than the Jerky Boys as far as for kids, But either way, Seth was going to have me on that show. So the part reading for Peter didn't work, but Seth was relentless, and about 19 years ago, he brought me on the show as Mort Goldman. They wanted to take Sal Rosenberg, the Jerky Boys character, and I said, no way. I said, you take that, it's gone. And that was probably one of the smartest moves I made, because I said, listen, what I'll do is I'll create a character for the show, and we'll call him, Mort Goldman.
That's pretty cool.
And he's slightly different. Everybody knows it sounds just like Sal, but he's slightly different. He's more amped up, and he's always ready to go. So that's the difference. But
so that was a business decision, though, because you wanted to keep Sal alive, just in case the Family Guy thing would ever go into dormancy.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you what, if they would have came up with the right numbers, if they would have said, hey, listen, can we, and then get me with some cash, I would say, you know what, I'll come and do them for you, and then I'll feel good about that number. But it's like it all comes, full circle. It's always great to come back here.
So now you were the voice of Mort right from the infancy of Family Guy?
Yes,
okay.
Because it's basically like Seth MacFarlane wanted my Sal, so I wasn't going to do that, so that's how they got a hold of it. We came up with.
Give me 1 second, because we do double duty here. We do the pit announcements as well. Group number 1, big blocks. You should be on staging lane right now. Group number 1 and 2, staging lane right now. All the other groups right behind. Group 1 and 2, modified time trials right now. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. I think I'm so used to it, But the pits looks it's so different seeing it like that. Is that the way it's going to be from now on?
Well, until the gods and the governors change things for us and allow people back in the grandstands, they'll have to use that out there pit area for the parking lot again. So whenever that might be, it's going to be this way until the gods change things for us. So.
Yeah, which I think will be not too far.
2029, 2030, yeah, okay.
So it's crazy.
Now, when you actually have to go to work in the morning and do Mort, the voice of Mort, where must you go to do that?
I go into Manhattan. Now everything's changed. I just finally got. I had a home studio anyway, but now I had to go re-gear everything because they're very, very particular. So and with this pandemic, I could stuff to order. It took months to get stuff to build my new studio, and but now it's all set. It's done. Now I record from home. But when I used to do it, it was in Manhattan at a studio called Star Tracks. So I'd recorded Star Tracks in New York City, and I'll tell you what, if I can stay like this will be incredible. Now I just go up, make a cup of coffee, and go downstairs and get in the studio.
I was gonna say, what's an average day like for you?
Yeah, well, the buffer zone, I would have to leave a 3-hour buffer zone.
Wow.
And I'm only right here. I'm in Cornwall, New York. So I turn on to 9W, make a right, and it takes me about 40 minutes to get to the bridge. Then I leave another 2 hours
exactly.
to get through the traffic in Manhattan. And it was a nightmare. So, and I used to bring Jay all the time with me. I did. I'd bring him with me because God, otherwise you get $200-300 tickets. So
he just keeps driving on the block the whole time you're working.
If he had to, yeah. But no, that was a pain in the neck. That's why if it stays this way, I think it'll be great. Great.
Now, when you do a season for Family Guy, how many weeks or months does that entail of actually working? You're not working year-round for a season, are you?
I just leave it. It's all open, and they call me when they need me. It could be once a week, or could be once every 3 weeks. And then I don't even pay attention to that really. I just go. I go in. They want
They give you the script, but do you actually see then on monitor what you're voicing?
No,
you do not. Okay.
There are times, very rare, that I have to go in and put my voice to the picture.
Okay.
But that's extremely rare. That's ADR session. But no, for the most part, because I also improvise a lot, and just little things. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just the way I might say something that they have it on a page that I wouldn't say it that way. Mm-hmm. So the directors are always like, yeah, Johnny, you know your characters better than anyone. So
that's
just,
cool.
Yeah. So and I do it the way I know that it would be said by my mom, let's say, because the character's based on her, and I know the way and the inflection that she would say something.
Now, is she still with
no,
us?
she passed away about 2016. Yeah. So she passed away.
So, but she did hear the whole thought process behind it. So that's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, she was actually when she used to come on movie sets.
Wow.
And she used to sit there and just take it all in, and she always knew. But right before she passed, I was able to tell her. I said, Ma, look at how many people you made happy with
cool.
your personality. And
she never came up behind you and slapped you in the head.
Oh yeah.
You did it wrong, Sonny. That's not how you do it.
Oh no, she definitely. We got our asses handed to us as kids, So she definitely was that type, strict.
Now, you said that, of course, you developed Jerky Boys in almost your infancy when you were just a young man.
Yeah.
So did you have the habit of making prank phone calls? Is that how that all began?
Nope, I never had any interest in prank phone calls. Okay. To this day, people say, when's that new album coming out? And Rolling Stone magazine did a feature story on the fact that I'm going to be doing the first Jerky Boys album in almost 25 years.
Wow.
So just like I used to do back then. Me personally, it's like very hard for me to get my head in this and get around it, and because I was never into prank phone calls, and I did more real pranks in life. I did my sister had a doll. It was like a life-size doll, and I put all my
Here's one like that.
Yeah, my football gear. I dressed the doll with all my football gear, helmet and all, and I took it up to the roof. We lived in Astoria, like a 3-story tenement building. And I took the doll up to the roof, and I fired it off the roof when a car was coming. So it landed right in front of the car, and then you hear the car, and it hit the doll. Everybody came running from up the block, down the block. I almost got in big trouble for that. But the real pranks, I was not interested in prank phone calls. But certainly they're the best ever. I just found out yesterday that the Jerky Boys 2, is in the top 5 records of history.
Wow.
Top 5 comedy records in
Congratulations.
history. Bill Cosby's up there with me, and Eddie Murphy, and some of the old timers, the big names. But that's pretty amazing to just find out a couple of days ago that Jerky Boys 2 is in the top 5 of all time. That's pretty insane.
Now, if you began the whole concept back when you were 7 or 8 years old, was it G-rated back then, or were you always letting the 4-letter words fly?
Well, yeah, in our house, we had parents that were, like I said, when I do my Frank Rizzo, that's my father.
Oh, cool.
So Frank Rizzo is my dad. Saul Rosenberg's my mom, and all my characters are based on real people. That's what Howard Stern said. People keep trying to copy this Jerky Boy stuff. He said it ain't going to happen. And Howard Stern said that only comes around once in a lifetime. Johnny was able to, as a kid, extrapolate and create these characters of people he knew.
Do you get to have a regular rapport with Howard Stern?
Not necessarily. Years ago, bit more, but not necessarily, because it's just the way the industry is. And a lot of these big shots, they're just they're kind of untouchable now.
Yeah.
And like even with Seth MacFarlane, I used to go out to dinner with Seth and stuff like that years ago. But lots of things change. You know, people they're getting pulled in 1,000 directions.
Sure.
You know, so sometimes there's just no time. You know.
And he had to restructure his format, going on Sirius and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So that changed for his life pretty much too.
Yeah.
Now, how restrictive? Of course, no doubt you're under contract and stuff. I mean, you can't just go around the different places and start throwing the Mort voice out. I mean, to have a little bit of a grip on you to say,
No,
hey, don't do that. You know.
Not necessarily, no, because I mean, if I was doing it to sell product or something like that, I'm sure then there would be an issue. But the fact is, it's my character. I created the character.
Okay.
So,
so you could actually call a whole heat race here with us in the Mort voice.
Yeah, actually, if I knew the names, stuff like that, if I knew the names and all, you know.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude here could probably do it in Tom Mater's voice, so you could do it in Mort's voice, and that'd be. Now, when the Jerky Boys face first became really super famous back, I think in the mid to late '80s, you guys also were involved in some race car sponsorship and stuff as well.
Yes.
Sprint car sponsorship.
Yes, actually, it was Chuck Alessi with the Planet Wings car, and Chuck actually he sponsored. He was he actually was the owner of both the Planet Wings car and the Jerky Boys race car.
Okay.
So, and my brother drove the Jerky Boys car. So that was, what was that, 2007 or 8 or something like that. Yeah. So and
I remember the first instance that you guys were introduced here at the Speedway was still back when Will Kegel was our boss. So that was in the '90s already.
Oh yeah, Kegel. We hit it off great. I got along really good with Will Kegel. I remember a funny story. I said there was a show on CBS. They wanted to come up and see, you know, what some of the things Johnny loved and here at the Speedway. And I said, well, that's one of the things I've loved as a kid. So they said, why don't we come up here? And so Connie Chung show. They came up here, but before that, I said, listen, Will. He says, I got a guy bringing in a car, Frank Cozy. And I said, well, if you can't get Cozy, I got Hexler. So Hexler said he'll come in, and Will Kegel says to me, if he comes anywhere near the track, that's it. We're not.
Yeah.
So Hexler, but you know, I know, like I've been around like so many years. You see these guys like Hearn, you know, Richie Urical. You know, we used to have so much fun. Even in the mid '80s, late '80s, you know, it was always a great time. Always a great time. Hey, back to when I was a kid. You know, you're talking about guys like Frankie Schneider. I remember coming out. I was 5 years old, telling my aunts, "Hurry up!" I was telling my Aunt Margie, "Come on, hurry up, speed up." There's Bobby Malzahn. We got trying to catch the hauler.
Wow.
You know, and back then, Bobby Malzahn, those guys carried the cars on the outside, you know, so you could see the car on the outside. And it was such an excitement as a kid.
Sure.
You know?
Those days are long gone. It's a shame. It's a shame we don't have more open-wheel trailers coming through town and
You know
stuff.
what that was like as a kid to see that?
And everybody, as a kid, it's like, come on, let's go to the races. Come on, Dad, come on, let's go to the races. Because you see the cars coming down the street, you want to do that.
It's free advertisement. Free advertisement to get people here.
Sure. Yeah, those days are somewhat gone. We've only got about a dozen guys that still use open haulers. So
the open haulers are the best.
well, Johnny Brennan, I'll tell you what, it's great to see you still in touch with your roots, even from your childhood.
Absolutely.
And you know, great to have you back on board with us here tonight. This at the Orange County Speedway, kind of somewhat of a different night of circumstances here. With the COVID pandemic turned everything around up here on the campus, kind of moved everything around a little bit, and you can hear crickets out there in the backstretch driving. Hopefully, only temporarily, but
it looks beautiful though.
Well, yeah, they kept the grass mowed, that's for sure.
It looks beautiful.
Those VP garbage cans look great from even over here. But great to have you back on board with us tonight. And boy, I'll tell you what, not only for the Jerky Boys, but for Mort as well, your career, hope it just keeps blossoming and keeps on flourishing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Johnny Brennan, ladies and gentlemen, joining us again this season here at the Orange County Speedway, his second time back in the 2020 campaign. And of course, he's the voice of Mort on Family Guy, but even just as important, the Jerky Boys. It began in his somewhat of an infancy back when he was in grade school. So
it's amazing how the Jerky Boys is getting stronger.
That's cool.
I've never seen anything like that. It's pretty incredible.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Great.
God bless you.
Great to do stuff and have fun doing it, and actually get maybe a couple shekels in your pocket at the end of the week.
Sure. Yep.